Good morning, everyone. Every great journey begins with a single thought, a belief, a mindset that says, I can. But too often we get stuck in our heads waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of ourselves before we take action. And that's where most people fail, not because they aren't capable, but because they don't move. Mindset is the foundation. It's how you interpret failure, how you see opportunities, and how you navigate uncertainty. If you believe challenges are obstacles, you will avoid them. But if you see them as lessons, you will embrace them. The difference is not in the difficulty of the task, it's in the way you approach it. But mindset alone is not enough. Action is what separates dreamers from doers. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the first one. Action creates momentum, and momentum fuels progress. The greatest ideas in the world are worthless without execution, and then comes effort. This is the part most people underestimate. Talent is overrated. Intelligence is not enough. What truly matters is the effort you put in every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. Success is not a one-time event. It's a series of small, consistent actions repeated over time. If you want to change your life, change your mindset. Take action. No matter how small, put in the effort even when no one is watching. Because in the end, it's not about how talented you are, how lucky you are, or how many resources you have. It's about how committed you are to showing up, doing the work, and never giving up. So ask yourself today, am I thinking in a way that serves me? Am I acting on what I believe? Am I giving my best effort every single day? Because your future is not determined by chance. It's determined by your mindset, your actions, and your effort. And that, my friends, is entirely within your control. The way you think influences everything you do. Your mindset is not just a perspective. It is the lens through which you see the world. It determines how you interpret challenges, how you respond to adversity, and how you approach opportunities. If your mindset is fixed, you will see limitations. If your mindset is growth-oriented, you will see possibilities. The choice is always yours. Every successful person you admire, every innovator, every leader, none of them got there by accident. They saw a future that didn't yet exist, and they believed it was possible before anyone else did. That belief, that way of thinking, shaped their reality, because here's the truth. Before anything can become real in the external world, it has to first become real in your mind. If you don't believe you can do it, you won't. If you constantly tell yourself that success is for other people, that you don't have what it takes, that you're not ready yet, then that becomes your reality, not because it's true, but because you've decided it's true. The human brain is wired to confirm what we already believe. If you believe you're not capable, your mind will find evidence to support that belief. You will recall past failures, times when you struggled, times when you fell short. But if you believe that every setback is a lesson, that failure is part of the process, then your brain will search for proof of your growth. You will see how far you've come, not how far you have to go. You will focus on solutions instead of problems, on possibilities instead of limitations. Some people spend their entire lives stuck in the same place, not because they lack intelligence, resources, or opportunities, but because they don't believe anything more is possible for them. They've told themselves a story about who they are, and they live according to that story. But here's the thing. Stories can be rewritten. You are not bound by your past. Your failures do not define you. The only thing that truly shapes your future is the mindset you choose today. Imagine two people facing the same obstacle. One sees it as a dead end, the other sees it as a challenge to overcome. The obstacle is the same, but their mindsets are different. And that difference determines everything. The first person stops trying, gives up, and stays where they are. The second person searches for a way through, learns something new, adapts, and eventually moves forward. Over time, these small decisions compound. One person remains stuck, the other grows. Your mindset is the foundation upon which you build your life. It determines the effort you put in, the risks you take, and the resilience you develop. It affects how you see yourself and how you interact with the world around you. A person with a scarcity mindset sees competition, threats, and obstacles. A person with an abundance mindset sees collaboration, opportunities, and solutions. Which one do you want to be? But shifting your mindset doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily practice. It's the discipline of choosing to see possibilities when your circumstances tell you otherwise. It's replacing self-doubt with self-belief. It's recognizing that every great achievement in history started as an idea in someone's mind. If they had doubted themselves, if they had let fear dictate their actions, the world would be a very different place. Think about the biggest challenges in your life right now. Are you looking at them through the lens of limitation or the lens of opportunity? Are you seeing only the reasons why it's difficult, or are you looking for ways to grow from it? The way you answer those questions will determine your next move, because here's the ultimate truth. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your reality. If you want to change your life, start by changing your mindset. Choose to see possibilities, choose to believe in yourself, choose to take action despite uncertainty, because when you do, the world around you will begin to change too. Taking action is the single most powerful way to create momentum in your life. Too often, people get stuck in a cycle of overthinking, waiting for the perfect time, or trying to have every detail figured out before making a move. But clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. The moment you take action, even in the smallest way, you set a process in motion that leads to progress. Momentum is a force. Once you start moving, things become easier. The hardest part is always the beginning, overcoming the inertia of inaction. Think about pushing a heavy object. At first it resists, it feels impossible to move, but the moment you apply steady effort, it starts to shift. And once it's moving, it takes far less energy to keep it going. The same principle applies to everything in life, whether it's starting a business, learning a new skill, getting in shape, or pursuing any goal. The biggest challenge is simply taking that first step. Most people wait for motivation before taking action, but that's backward. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you take action, no matter how small, you begin to see progress. Progress fuels motivation, and motivation fuels more action. It's a cycle that builds upon itself. But if you never start, you never get to experience that momentum. You stay stuck in the same place, wondering why things aren't changing. Fear often holds people back from taking action. The fear of failure, the fear of making the wrong choice, the fear of looking foolish. But fear only has power if you let it stop you. If you take action despite fear, it begins to lose its grip. The truth is, most of the things we fear never actually happen, and even if they do, we almost always learn and grow from them. The regret of not trying is far worse than the discomfort of failing. Small actions compound over time. A single workout won't get you in shape, but consistently showing up will transform your body. Writing one page won't make you an author, but writing every day will. The most successful people are not the ones who made perfect decisions or had flawless execution. They are the ones who kept moving forward. They understood that momentum is built through consistent effort, not through waiting for the perfect circumstances. Think about any time in your life when you felt stuck. Chances are you weren't taking action. You were thinking about taking action. You were planning, strategizing, researching, doing everything except actually moving forward. And while preparation has its place, it should never become an excuse for inaction. Most people overestimate what they need to start and underestimate the power of simply beginning with what they have. Perfectionism kills momentum. If you wait for the perfect plan, you'll never start. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never move. The reality is, you become ready by taking action. The first step may not be perfect, but it will teach you something. That lesson will inform your next step, and before you know it, you'll be further along than you ever imagined. Every great success story starts with a single step. The entrepreneur who built $1 billion company started with an idea and took action. The athlete who won championships started with a single practice session. The artist whose work inspires millions started by picking up a brush. None of them had it all figured out in the beginning. What set them apart was their willingness to take action and keep going. Right now, there's something in your life that you've been putting off, something you've been waiting for the right time to do. But what if the right time is now? What if the only thing standing between you and the momentum you need is a single decision to act? You don't have to take a giant leap, you just have to take a step. Because once you do, something incredible happens. The resistance you felt begins to fade. The path that seemed unclear starts to reveal itself. And most importantly, you start to believe in yourself. Because when you take action, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are in control, and that you can create the momentum to carry you forward. Success is not determined by talent alone. It's not about intelligence, luck, or even the resources you start with. Success is defined by effort, by the willingness to show up, put in the work, and stay committed when things get difficult. Effort is the great equalizer. It bridges the gap between potential and achievement, between dreams and reality. No matter how naturally gifted someone is, without effort, their talent remains untapped. Too often, people assume that successful individuals have some advantage that others don't. They believe that great athletes are simply born gifted, that top entrepreneurs were destined for success, or that brilliant artists were blessed with extraordinary creativity. But the truth is, talent may open the door, but effort is what keeps it open. The people who rise to the top in any field are the ones who work relentlessly, who push through failure, and who refuse to quit when the path gets tough. Effort is what separates those who succeed from those who merely wish for success. Anyone can dream of a better life, a thriving business, or a healthier body, but only those who consistently put in the effort will achieve it. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be is not a secret formula. It's effort applied consistently over time. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating how much effort is required to achieve something great. We often see the highlight reels of successful people, the awards, the breakthroughs, the moments of triumph. But what we don't see is the years of hard work, the failures, the late nights, and the sacrifices they made along the way. Every overnight success story is really a story of relentless effort that compounded over time. The problem is that effort is not always immediately rewarded. When you put in the work, but don't see instant results, it's easy to get discouraged. This is where most people give up. They assume their efforts aren't paying off, that maybe they aren't meant to succeed, and they stop trying. But the reality is, success is a long game. The results of your effort may not be visible right away, but they are accumulating beneath the surface. Like planting a seed, you don't see growth immediately, but with patience and persistence, it eventually breaks through. Effort also means showing up when you don't feel like it. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated, but real success comes from pushing forward even when motivation fades. Discipline is what keeps you going when inspiration is nowhere to be found. The greatest athletes don't just train when they're excited, they train every single day, rain or shine. The most successful entrepreneurs don't work only when they feel energized, they put in the hours even when it's exhausting. Success is built in the moments when no one is watching, when there are no immediate rewards, when quitting would be the easier choice. It's also important to understand that effort doesn't mean working aimlessly. It's about focused, intentional work. Effort without strategy leads to burnout, but effort directed toward improvement leads to mastery. The key is to continuously refine your approach, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward. Growth happens when effort meets adaptability. At some point, you will face obstacles. You will encounter setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. But effort is what pushes you through. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They get back up, they learn, and they keep going. Think about something you want to achieve. Maybe it's a career goal, a personal transformation, or a skill you want to develop. Now ask yourself, are you truly putting in the effort it takes to succeed? Are you showing up every day, even when it's hard? Are you pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone? Because the truth is, effort will always give you an advantage over those who are waiting for the perfect opportunity or the right circumstances. At the end of the day, success is not about what you're given. It's about what you do with what you have. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about making the moment right through effort. And the best part? Effort is something you control. No one can take it from you. No one can limit how hard you work, how dedicated you are, or how committed you remain to your goals. So if you want success, make the decision today to outwork your challenges, to outlast your failures, and to show up every day with relentless effort, because in the end, success is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of effort. Belief is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It has the ability to shape lives, fuel ambitions, and turn impossible dreams into reality. Everything that exists today, the tallest skyscrapers, the most groundbreaking technologies, the most inspiring achievements, began with someone who believed it was possible. Before others could see it, before there was any proof, there was belief. What you believe about yourself, your abilities, and your potential influences every decision you make. If you believe you are capable, you will take action, persist through challenges, and find solutions where others see obstacles. But if you believe you are limited, that success is only for others, or that failure is inevitable, you will hold yourself back before you even begin. Your belief system becomes your reality because your actions will always align with what you think is possible. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence, resources, or talent. They fail because they don't believe they can succeed. They doubt themselves before they even try, and that doubt leads to inaction. Fear takes over, and they convince themselves that the risk is too great, that they aren't ready, or that they need more time. But the truth is, the only thing standing between where they are and where they want to be is the courage to believe in themselves. Belief is what gives people the strength to keep going when everything around them suggests they should quit. It's what separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. History is filled with stories of people who succeeded against all odds, not because they had more advantages, but because they refused to let doubt dictate their future. Think about Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. If he had believed that failure was final, he would have given up. But he didn't. He believed every failed attempt was simply part of the process. Or consider J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. If she had believed the rejections meant she wasn't good enough, the world would have never experienced the magic of her stories. The power of belief is not just about achieving external success, it's about how you see yourself. If you constantly tell yourself that you aren't good enough, that you aren't smart enough, or that you don't have what it takes, those beliefs will hold you back. But when you start telling yourself a different story, when you choose to believe that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you have the ability to improve, everything changes. Belief doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending things are easier than they are. It means trusting that no matter what challenges arise, you have the ability to overcome them. It means knowing that your potential is not fixed, that growth is always possible, and that setbacks are just stepping stones towards something greater. But belief alone is not enough. It must be followed by action. You can believe in yourself all day long, but if you never take the first step, nothing will change. True belief is demonstrated through effort, through resilience, through the willingness to keep going even when things get hard. The most successful people in the world don't just believe in themselves, they act on that belief every single day. If you struggle with self-doubt, start by changing the way you talk to yourself. Your words have power. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, say, I can get better with practice. Instead of saying, I'll never succeed, say, every step I take brings me closer to success. It may feel small, but over time, these shifts in language create shifts in mindset. And when your mindset changes, your actions follow. Surround yourself with people who reinforce your belief. The environment you place yourself in matters. If you spend time with people who are constantly negative, who doubt themselves, and who make excuses, their mindset will influence yours. But if you surround yourself with people who believe in growth, who push themselves, and who encourage you to do the same, you will start to see new possibilities for yourself. At the end of the day, the most important belief you can have is the belief that you are in control of your own life. That you are not a victim of circumstances, that you are not defined by your past, and that you have the ability to shape your future. Because once you believe that, nothing can stop you. Struggle is an unavoidable part of life. No one achieves anything significant without facing challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Yet most people spend their lives trying to avoid struggle, hoping for an easy path, wishing success would come without resistance. But the truth is, struggle is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. It is through struggle that we grow, develop resilience, and discover what we are truly capable of. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who learn to see struggle as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. Every challenge presents a choice. You can let it defeat you or you can let it strengthen you. When you embrace the struggle, you shift your perspective. Instead of seeing difficulties as barriers, you see them as stepping stones. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by problems, you see them as puzzles to be solved. Think about the strongest, most resilient people you know. They didn't become that way because life was easy for them. They became strong because they faced hardships and pushed through them. Growth only happens when we are stretched beyond our comfort zones. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Skills don't improve without practice. Character isn't built in times of ease, but in times of adversity. Many people give up when things get hard because they assume struggle is a sign that they aren't meant to succeed. But struggle is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're on the right path. The difficulty means you're growing. It means you're pushing beyond what's comfortable. It means you're becoming stronger. Success is not about avoiding challenges. It's about how you respond to them. Some people see failure as the end of the road. Others see it as feedback, as a lesson, as a necessary step toward improvement. The people who achieve great things in life are the ones who keep going despite setbacks. They don't let failure define them. They use it as fuel to keep moving forward. When you embrace struggle, you stop looking for shortcuts. You stop waiting for things to be easy. Instead, you develop the mindset that no matter how hard things get, you will find a way through. This shift in perspective is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. History is filled with examples of people who turned struggle into success. Oprah Winfrey faced rejection and hardship before becoming one of the most influential women in the world. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest athletes of all time. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before returning to revolutionize the technology industry. None of these people had an easy path, but they embraced their struggles, learned from them, and kept moving forward. The same principle applies to you. Whatever struggle you are facing right now is not a reason to give up. It is an opportunity to grow. It is shaping you into the person you need to become to achieve your goals. The lessons you learn through struggle will serve you far more than any easy success ever could. If you want to get stronger, you must lift heavier weights. If you want to become more resilient, you must go through difficult situations. If you want to achieve more, you must be willing to struggle more. The process may not always be pleasant, but it is always necessary. The key is to shift your mindset. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of feeling defeated, remind yourself that struggle is part of the journey. Every challenge is preparing you for something greater. At the end of the day, the struggle is what makes success meaningful. If everything were easy, accomplishments would have no value. The difficulty is what makes the reward worth it. So instead of running from struggle, lean into it, face it head on, use it to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. Because in the end, the struggle is not there to stop you. It's there to shape you. And when you embrace it, you unlock the potential within you that you never knew existed. Many people chase perfection, believing that success comes from doing everything flawlessly. They hesitate to start because they fear making mistakes. They overthink every detail, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. But perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. What truly matters is consistency. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who get everything right all the time. They are the ones who show up and put in the effort day after day. Consistency is what drives real progress. It is far more powerful than short bursts of perfection. You don't need to be perfect to succeed. You need to be committed. A writer who writes every day will always outperform the one who waits for inspiration. An athlete who trains consistently, even on bad days, will always be better than the one who only practices when they feel good. The business owner who takes small steps forward daily will build something far greater than the one who spends years trying to create the perfect plan without acting on it. The reason consistency matters more than perfection is simple. Growth happens over time. No one becomes great overnight. Skills are developed through repetition. Strength is built through endurance. Mastery is achieved by continually refining and improving, not by getting everything right the first time. Perfectionism often leads to paralysis. When you are obsessed with doing things perfectly, you hesitate to take risks. You spend too much time planning and not enough time doing. You become afraid of failure, so you avoid challenges. The irony is that in the pursuit of perfection, many people achieve nothing at all. They stay stuck because they are waiting for conditions that will never come. Consistency, on the other hand, builds momentum. It teaches discipline. It helps you push through fear and self-doubt. When you show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, you prove to yourself that you are committed. You build habits that create long-term success. You gain experience that can only come from doing, not from thinking or planning. Imagine two people learning a new skill, let's say playing the guitar. One person practices for 5 hours in a single day, but then doesn't touch the instrument for weeks. The other practices for 20 minutes a day, every day. After a year, who will be better? The one who practiced consistently. Small, steady effort will always outperform sporadic bursts of intense effort. The same applies to fitness. Someone who works out 3 times a week consistently for a year will see far greater results than someone who works out every day for 2 weeks and then stops. Success is about sustainability. It's not about how perfectly you perform in the short term. It's about how consistently you show up in the long term. One of the biggest benefits of consistency is that it allows for improvement. You don't need to be perfect to start, you just need to start. Every mistake you make is a lesson. Every failed attempt is an opportunity to adjust and get better. If you wait until you have all the answers, you'll never begin. But if you start now and commit to consistent effort, you will learn, grow, and improve along the way. Successful people understand this. They embrace the process rather than obsess over perfect outcomes. They know that progress is messy, that mistakes are part of the journey, and that every step forward, no matter how small, brings them closer to their goals. They don't let imperfection hold them back. They use it as fuel to keep going. If you struggle with perfectionism, remind yourself that no one starts as an expert. Every master was once a beginner. Every great achievement was once a rough draft. The only way to get better is to do the work, to keep moving forward, to be willing to fail and learn. Right now, think about a goal you have. Have you been waiting for the perfect time to start? Have you been avoiding action because you're afraid of not getting it right? If so, shift your mindset. Commit to consistency instead of perfection. Start today, no matter how small. Keep going, even when it's tough. Trust the process, knowing that every step forward counts. In the end, success is not about doing things perfectly, it's about doing them consistently. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and improving over time. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who never make mistakes, they are the ones who refuse to quit. So stop chasing perfection, choose consistency instead, and watch how your life transforms.